Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm and you are watching 5th part of What If Naruto Was Descendant of Revan. If you enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
When Team 7 and Zabuza and Haku arrived in Konoha, many people were surprised to see the former mist shinobi in their midst, and many wondered what Naruto had done to bring the man to the leaf. When they entered the Hokage's office, they saw clones working on paperwork and the Sandaime himself reading his perverted book, which Naruto had summoned to his hand with the force in order to get the man's attention and make him blush in embarrassment. "Did we catch you at the wrong time?" said Naruto as he handed the book to Haku, who blushed at the sight of it because she knew what it was. Neither person noticed Zabuza fuming silently at Naruto's transformation of his daughter into a pervert and had to restrain himself from aiming his sword at the Namikaze in front of him. "Of course not, Naruto. I was just catching up on some light reading that I had missed out on due to my years of being such an old man," Hiruzen explained as he saw Naruto shake his head in disappointment and Haku pick up where he had left off in the book. He'd never seen a girl change so dramatically outside of Hyuga Hinata. "We'll let it go for now because we're back from our mission and we have quite a story to tell you," Naruto said as he began to report on the mission and how things were not as they seemed, with the cruel businessman Gato serving as the villain in this story. When the mission was finished, Naruto handed him the payment for the mission, and the Hokage accepted it, discovering that Naruto's actions had helped secure the majority of the trading rights for when business was done in Wave Country. Not only that, but due to Gato's death and the seizure of his money, the people were able to pay for the actual A-ranked mission on the spot. This is certainly one for the record books because it's very rare for a genin team to have an A-ranked mission so soon, and to bring with them an A-ranked missing nin from Mist of all people is indeed something in itself, Sarutobi said as he paid the genin team their sum of money and let them go, with the exception of Naruto. "With due respect, Hokage-sama, Zabuza is not a missing nin, and Haku isn't either because she was never a shinobi in Mist. So, what should I do with Zabuza and Haku?" said Sarutobi, as he saw Haku nod her head before returning to the perverted book and preventing Zabuza from stealing it. "Zabuza has been working for me for several years now, along with the Demon Brothers, and Haku is, well, one of my future wives that I would like to marry as time passes," Naruto said, seeing Haku look up from her book and stare at him in disbelief, her face turning red. This allowed Zabuza to take the book from Haku before reading it himself, but he stopped when he realized what Naruto had said and dropped the book onto the ground because he was nearly a second away from a heart attack. "Well, that's certainly intriguing. We don't have enough swordsmen in Konoha, so Zabuza will help train our shinobi in the art of the sword with what he knows, and Haku will be enlisted as one of our shinobi with the rank of Chunin," said the Hokage, as he saw Naruto nod and Haku's mind reboot from what the Namikaze said. "I'd also like to become a medic nin and work at the hospital because I learned a lot while traveling with Zabuza," Haku said, as she had excellent chakra control and could learn a few things to supplement what she already knew. "Excellent. The hospital needs new staff because the old one was reduced years ago for reasons I won't go into," said the Hokage, as he saw Naruto nod and turn to leave with Haku. "If that's all right, old man, then we'll go and show Haku her new home," Naruto said as he walked out with the two, warning them to expect some unexpected things that might freak them out at first. When the trio left, the Hokage noticed his treasure book on the floor and dove for it, kissing it lovingly and calling it his precious. A few hours later, Namikaze Estates. "Is this the girl you met in Wave Country? Naruto-kun, you are very talented. I also see Haku has a good aura around her form and can be trusted to keep secrets that you share with her," Asta said, and it makes Haku very nervous to be under the gaze of the demon lord who nearly brought Konoha to its knees. "Asta-chan, she will be one of my future wives. Show her around the estates and after the tour of her new home. Give her the initiation into the family," Naruto said, making Asta laugh and Haku nervous because he didn't know what the initiation was. Well, I suppose being bisexual will have its advantages, Haku thought as she blushed at the thought of Naruto's plan to have her officially join his clan, which involved her being intimate with the demon lord before her. Come, Haku-chan, let me show you around, and then we can begin your entry into the Namikaze clan, Asta said as she dragged the whimpering girl behind her. It's a good thing Zabuza is looking for new clothes to wear, because otherwise he'd go on a rampage against me. I wonder where the demon brothers are? Thought Naruto as he reached out through the force and sensed the two peering into a hole into the hot springs female sections with Jiraiya. He'd just have to take care of it, wouldn't he? While visiting the hot springs, Anko's spine shivered as she became aware that a male species was peering in on her private time while she was relaxing in the hot springs with Yuhi Kurenai and Inuzuka Hana. Anko for her torture sessions with prisoners, Kurenai for her Team 8 training sessions, which they were still doing, and Inuzuka Hana for the exhausting hours she spent handling several unruly dogs who didn't want the shots their owners wanted to give them. Anko used the hidden mist jutsu she learned from Naruto during one of the missions she had within him years ago to create a thicker mist around them and sneak out of their side of the hot springs to hurt those who were peeping on them, making a few hand signs that all women knew was the secret communication they had for warning the others of a pervert or perverts nearby. Where have they gone? Mizu wondered why the mist had become so thick after he could no longer see the hot women in the hot springs. Keep your voice down or they'll hear us, said Gozu, who was also trying to see through the mist and see the impressive breasts of the hot spring women. Too late, Anko said, now fully clothed, with the two women behind her grinning evilly at the moment. This is what I get for dragging you two along, Jiraiya sighed as he noticed the two beside him looking for an escape route. Would you please scream for us? Hana said sweetly, with a feral look on her face, as she and the other two struck in, tearing the three perverts a new ass. Their screams rang out throughout the village. On Namikaze Estate. And my work there is done, Naruto said, smirking at his plan's success and heading out to check on the other teams to see if they were training hard. After all, Naruto would be a bad sensei if he ignored the teams outside of Team 7 that he thought were qualified to be genin and didn't check in with their senseis to make sure they weren't slacking off on their training. 15 minutes later on Konoha streets. Naruto walked through the streets of Konoha, ignoring the adults who stared and yelled at him for being a monster. Naruto, of course, ignored them because their generation was insignificant, and their hatred for him would die with them, and the new generation would dominate the village, taking care of those poisoned by the old generation. As he walked, Naruto ignored the growing crowd in the middle of the market square, where Jiraiya, Mizu, and Gozu were strung up naked with the leaf symbol branded into their asses, along with the names of those who had done it to them. Shaking his head slightly at the three men being stupid perverts, Naruto went to Team 8's current training ground location to see how they were progressing and how Kurenai was treating her team. If her branding was any indication, she treated Mizu better. 4th Training Ground. Shino watched as Kiba reluctantly stood in front of Hinata as they prepared to fight again, and the Aburame wondered if Hinata would injure the Inuzuka in the same way he had the last time they fought. Kicking him in the nuts. Training hard, I see, Naruto said as he appeared in front of the trio, and saw Hinata look at him with joy she hadn't seen in a long time before quickly knocking Kiba on his ass so she could hug her Namikaze with all her strength. Naruto-kun, exclaimed Hinata as she tackled him and suffocated a weaker person with a crushing hug. Good day, Hinata-chan. Did you think about me? As Naruto removed his helmet, he was met with a passionate kiss on the lips that caused Kiba's jaw to hit the dirt and Shino's eyebrows to rise past his hair. Does that answer your question? Hinata asked, kissing him again and letting out a eep. When he groped her behind, causing both of her teammates to faint in shock. Yes, Hinata-chan, it does. Indeed it does, Naruto said with a wicked grin as he turned to see the other two members of Team 8 down. Up for a prank? Said Naruto, seeing Hinata grin and nod her head excitedly. "What did you have in mind?" Hinata asked, seeing Naruto pull out a camera and smile an evil smile that predicted doom for their prey. "Do you know where we can get a lot of honey?" Naruto asked, seeing Hinata's eyes light up with mischief and her smile. It's time for a fox-worthy prank. At a later date. Kiba awoke feeling strangely warm all over, with a body on top of his own, and the Inuzuka heir mistook himself for a beautiful hot bitch who wanted him for his alpha-like manliness. When he heard a male grow from the person on top of him and realized he was covered in a sticky yellow substance that wasn't pee, his thoughts were shattered. He was also naked. What the hell? Why am I wet and naked? Did I miss something enjoyable? Kiba struggled to sit up because he couldn't see straight. Kiba, please close your eyes, as I do not want you to see me like this, and if you don't do as I say, I will give your entire clan fleas that you can't wash away, Shino said, as he was on top of Kiba, just as sticky, and just as naked, their clothes nowhere to be found, while Akamaru was tied up in a honey-covered tree with a ball gag in his mouth to keep him from calling out to. Of course, being human nature to do the opposite when we are told to do something else, Shino discovered that Kiba had indeed opened his eyes to see his teammate in the same boat as him, making the Inuzuka scream like a little girl. It took the two boys several hours to clean themselves up in a nearby stream, and neither of them could look at the other because they couldn't believe what had happened to them. When they returned to the location of their situation, there were several pictures of them in various positions, as well as a note on top of them. You are now ours. With one wrong move, these images become public. Signed. Hinata and Naruto. P.S. Your clothes have returned to your homes and are now on your beds. Now is the time to put your shinobi stealth training to use and return home undetected. Enjoy. That son of a bitch. Yelled Kiba as he tore up the note, then the pictures, only to have another note appear beneath it. If you decide to destroy the photos we left, we thought you should know that we took hundreds of them and have a trusted agent ready to distribute them for everyone to see. Good luck getting any in the near future from the girls. Signed. Hinata and Naruto. I have to get home before my sister. If she finds out, she'll never let me live it down and will kick me out. Kiba said as he ran home, ignoring his dogs whimpering for him to return. Bite Kiba in the rear for me right before he enters the house, Shino said as he heard Akamaru bark and ran off to teach his owner a lesson about not leaving your partner behind, no matter how sticky or naked you are. Elsewhere. Naruto and Hinata were laughing their asses off as they saw Kiba trying to sneak back to his clan's house while avoiding being caught in several cases where he was almost caught by someone, and Naruto was tempted to force push Kiba into a crowded street more than once. Still, that would be cheating, and Naruto wasn't about to cheat Kiba out of a fair shot at returning home with some dignity intact. Then again, when is fair truly fair? It was all about a point of view, right? Sorry Kiba, but not everything is fair in love and war like we think it is, thought Naruto, knowing of Kiba's perverted thoughts when it came to Hinata, and Naruto was going to have to make sure the Inuzuka understood that she was off limits in every sense of the word. Naruto used the force push when the boy jumped wildly towards the fence, causing him to overshoot his intended target, which was the top of the fence, just as Kiba entered the alley that would take him directly to his clan home's backyard once he jumped the fence at the next turn. Kiba landed through the alley on the opposite side, skidded through dirt and garbage before finally stopping in the middle of a public street on his back, with him looking up a woman's skirt once he stopped. The woman let out a terrifying shriek, beat up Kiba, and kicked him back into the alley before Akamaru came up behind him and bit the Inuzuka heir on the ass. That was bad Naruto-kun, Hinata said, knowing Naruto was involved in Kiba's humiliation, and she let out a eep when he smacked her rump before groping it. Just wait a few years, Hinata-chan, and I'll show you just how bad I can be, Naruto said, seeing Hinata blush at the sensational pleasure he shot through her body, and shivering with delight at what she was feeling. "I'll be fine for a few years. Right?" Hinata thought, as she hoped she could, and let out a moan when he squeezed her ass. "See you later, Hinata-chan. Stay strong and sexy," Naruto said as he kissed her on the cheek, slapped her ass once more, and walked away, leaving a stunned Hyuga heiress trying to hide the dampness in between her legs. Hinata couldn't wait to be older. Team 10, Training Ground Number 9. "Shikamaru, come on. If you don't move your ass, I'll have to make all of you do more D-rank missions and improve your teamwork skills to be like your parents," Asuma said as he lit a cigarette and watched Ino pound Shikamaru into the ground in preparation for that potential event happening because the girl didn't want to deal with the cat again. When they finally recovered the little monster, the cat's claws gave Ino a wicked haircut that nearly caused the semi-fangirl to explode in front of the fire daimyo's wife. "You should do more to motivate him. Like telling his mother that he's being lazy and should do more chores at home and possibly accompany her when shopping for certain female items that men tend to avoid," Naruto said as he appeared next to the Junin while Shikamaru stood up and looked around for the angel of death that was his mother. "Really? Well. In that case, maybe I should, because he seems to be dragging his feet a little, and not pushing his body like he would his mind at puzzle games," Asuma said as he saw Shikamaru unleash his shadow on the man, which would have succeeded if Naruto hadn't used the force to stop it in its tracks. "Be nice, Shikamaru. Or perhaps you want me to show your mother the photos of you eating food that I believe has a note on it that says, 'If Nara males touch this they will die.' On it," Naruto said, as he showed the others the picture of Shikamaru, who was clearly seen taking one of his mother's personal pastries she made for herself after running the household with an iron fist, and all Nara males knew touching a woman's food she considers hers is. "God damn it, Naruto, you're troublesome, and for some reason my mom likes you because you make me more active in life than I'd like to be," Shikamaru said as he heard his mom go on and on about how the more active a Nara male was, the better life was for the poor Nara wife he married, and how he wished for at least some active grandchildren. Shikamaru didn't understand half of it, but when has a Nara male from his clan ever understood the female mind and done something right in their eyes? That is never the case. "Keep it up, Shikamaru, and I'll use the mind trick to make you put on a dress before I have you singing in the middle of the town square," Naruto threatened, knowing he could carry it out. "Damn Naruto, that's one mean threat," Asuma said as he let out a puff of smoke and watched the Nara start working muscles he didn't think he'd ever use again in his life. "Who said it was merely a threat? I really meant it. Also, Asuma, I see you're gaining some weight, so do 3 times your normal workout from before you left to be a guard for the fire daimyo. If you don't, I'll tie you up and put you on a heavy detoxifying regimen to burn the nicotine out of your body," Naruto said, nearly dropping the cigarette in his mouth as he saw Asuma look at him in shock. Shikamaru thought, "Take that, Asuma." As he saw Asuma sigh in defeat, and began his own physical training regimen to keep him from getting a beer gut. "I trust you, Ino-chan, to keep them all in line and bust some heads if they get too lazy. Choji, if you don't stay in shape while eating, we'll make sure you're barred from eating at your favorite restaurant until you're up to par with my expectations and don't rely on your stomach so much," Choji said, as he nearly dropped his bag and Ino punched the air at being trusted with keeping her team together. "You can count on me, Naruto-kun," exclaimed Ino after exercising the Sasuke fangirl in her and teaching the Yamanaka girl how to maintain a good athletic figure no matter what she ate. Now, Ino had some decent muscle on that body while still looking good. And then there was one, Naruto thought as he left Team 10 to their sensei-led training and went to see the most active team that actually ran perfectly. Team 9 Training Ground Number 8. Tenten was practicing her throwing and manipulating her strings, which were linked to the various weapons she had on her when Naruto appeared. Lee was training in taijutsu with Guy not far away, and he had new weights on his limbs to boot, so the boy would be faster in no time. Neji, hurry up. You said you'd go out with us tonight and eat with us, Tenten said, seeing the boy frown and seem hesitant to join his team for a night, as if it were some kind of sacrilege to go out with your team just for the sake of going out with your team. I know I did, Tenten, but I can change my mind, and considering how Lee is so full of energy, I do believe he will have more than enough fun for all of us, Neji said, as he wanted nothing to do with Lee and Tenten. Even if he was a branch member of the Hyuga clan, Neji was a member of the Hyuga clan and could not be seen with commoners. He would be one of their teammates on this team in order to advance in rank, but he refused to embrace a friendship he couldn't return, and felt they were beneath him in being their friends. Noble blood did not mix well with garbage. You have a lot of negativity, Neji-san. I'm curious what Hinata-chan would say. Naruto smirked as he noticed Neji stiffen, knowing why, because the two had an altercation during the year he taught at academy when he was walking to the building and found Neji arguing with his teammate in green spandex before Lee went to green spandex. Flashback. 1 year ago. Naruto stood on the roof, watching the children play in the playground below, while some of the younger students trained to become genin. But it was to the left, on the other side of the academy, where one Maida guy had left his students to train while he challenged Kakashi to a duel, which only happened after Naruto used the Jedi mind trick to persuade Kakashi to accept, much to Kakashi's surprise when he actually did, and looked on at Genin Team 9, who were now part of Konoha's shinobi army. Unlike the weak fangirls who only entered the academy to catch the eyes of clan-descended shinobi in order to get into their pants and be financially secure, the girl with buns in her hair had a fire in her to prove she was strong. The boy who had been knocked to the ground had unruly hair and appeared to be unable to mold chakra, but he sensed there was something else locked away in the boy that could turn him into a deadly warrior if brought out correctly. Such things, however, would be difficult with the third member of this newly formed team because of one Hyuga Neji, as the boy saw little in either teammate and yet was working with them if only to make it to Chunin. Naruto suspected that once that was confirmed, Neji would flee for as long as he could, using his newfound freedom to advance to Junin, if not Anbu, where the animal masks became a Hyuga branch member's best friend. Lee, give it up. You can train until your face turns green, but you'll never catch up to the likes of me, and fate decrees it, Neji belittled the boy on the ground as he stood up, trying to ignore the pain coursing through his body. Such a spirit as Lee's should not be extinguished, Hyuga Neji, but rather encouraged in these times to press forward, and show everyone that Konoha is still filled with life, Naruto said as he descended from the roof to the team using the force, and made quite an entrance with Tenten having a star in her eyes. Namikaze-sama, you honor us by being here, but I must respectfully disagree because Lee-san cannot use ninjutsu and genjutsu because he only has enough chakra to keep himself alive. Rock Lee is a doomed failure from birth. Neji saw Lee become enraged and was about to retaliate when the Hyuga branch member found himself choking while being levitated several feet into the air before slamming into the academy wall. You call yourself a natural failure? I don't think you understand what it's like to have nothing and fight for what you believe should be yours regardless. Perhaps I should take out your eyes, Neji, and leave you blind until the end of your days, when all you can do is sit in your room and wait for it to be over? What do you think? Naruto struggled to breathe as he saw Neji's eyes widen in shock. Please, Naruto-sama, let Neji-san go. I know my teammate insulted me, but he is still my teammate, and I must respectfully request that you spare him your wrath. Lee kneeled before Naruto, and the Namikaze looked down at Lee before returning his attention to Neji, who was gasping for breath and turning purple. As you wish, Lee-san, because your devotion to your comrade has moved me and demonstrates that you value your teammates even if they do not value you.
As for you, Hyuga Neji, if you keep going down this path, I'll have to do something that will make Hinata-chan cry, and I hope that day never comes because she regards you as her big brother who protects her regardless of the seal on your forehead. Naruto said this as he threw Neji out of his line of sight and through several trees before the Hyuga's body was on the ground in need of medical attention.
Whoa. exclaimed Lee and Tenten as they looked at Naruto's retreat. And that members of Team 9 is the lesson for today, Naruto said as the class resumed, and he was going over a variety of poisons today with Anko as his special guest, because she knew quite a few of them. Flashback concludes. My apologies, Naruto-sama, but until I see otherwise, fate controls all those around it, and despite what you believe. You are no exception, Neji said, as he noticed Naruto's head tilt to the side, as if in thought about those words, and simply shrugged as if nothing had happened. It makes no difference to me whether fate exists or not, Neji. The future is always in motion, and what you do with your life shapes fate, Neji. Not fate itself, Naruto said as he walked away from an irritated Neji and impressed Tenten while waving to the two green beasts. Not far away. Compound of the Hyuga clan. Hanabi was practicing her gentle fist while replaying events from Wave Country in her head, frowning at Naruto's words about not letting her see or experience what he did to save the people of Wave. She had complete faith in her sensei, but his words about not allowing Hanabi to experience what she felt she needed to experience made her wonder how he expected her to grow strong, and when he was going to have her experience it. You're training hard, I see, Hiyashi said with approval, and Hanabi turned to face her father before bowing to him. I felt I needed the training to continue my progress, Hanabi explained as she noticed her father frown in confusion, which was visible on his normally stone-faced face. Really? I read a copy of the report given to me by the Hokage, and your second sensei Namikaze Naruto commends you on your efforts, Hiyashi said as he saw the girl in front of him, his daughter, look away, and wished to know what she was hiding from him. I don't believe I performed as well as Naruto-sensei reported. I wanted to be there for all of the fighting that eventually led to Gado's defeat, but Naruto-sensei ordered me to stay behind to protect Tezuna's family, and I felt I was passing up an opportunity to show how much I had grown, Hanabi spoke up as she noticed her father nod and then move closer before placing a hand on her shoulder. Hanabi, you must learn that not all final battles are equally important, and that protecting the client and his family is equally important. What if Team 7 all rushed to fight Gato and the man sent a team of thugs to kill the man's family? Even if Gato had died, the mission would have failed because the bridge would not have been built, causing the people to suffer even longer. What you did was ensure the client's safety while your sensei dealt with the client's threat to ensure the event's success. When it comes to protecting your client, this is the most important aspect of your mission. Hiyashi understood Naruto's logic as he saw his daughter nod in understanding. Thank you very much, father. I believe I understand now, Hanabi said as she bowed to her father and went to her meditation room. She also doesn't need to see so much death in one place right now. Hanabi is too young for that, and I'm afraid that exposing her to it too soon will scar her mind, Hiyashi thought as he went to speak with the Hokage about the upcoming Chunin exams and get his opinion on whether Team 7's senseis thought the team was ready. 2 weeks later. For the next 2 weeks, Team 7 lived as normal genins, completing D-ranked missions to improve teamwork and ensure the team remembered the basics. They trained when they weren't on missions, with Sakura sparring with Kakashi when he wasn't sparring with Sasuke and Hanabi sparring with Naruto to help strengthen her taijutsu skills. The Konohamaru Corps appeared to greet their boss, as they called Naruto, and invited him to play with them. Naruto smiled at them from behind his helmet, about to nod his head, when Sakura yelled at him for ignoring Hanabi's training. As a result of Konohamaru insulting Sakura by calling her a cross-dressing man with a stuffed shirt to cover up her flat chest, Sakura became enraged and began to assault the trio, despite Kakashi's efforts to stop her. In the midst of all of this, Naruto looked at Hanabi before giving her an apologetic shrug because he wanted her to play with kids her own age and have some fun. That, and the Sandame would kill him if anything bad happened to his grandson while he was watching. The trio of children ran for their lives before collapsing into a leg belonging to one Subaku no Kankuro, who picked up the Sarutobi in front of him with an angry expression on his face. Watch where you're going, you little runt. scowled Kankuro, and Konohamaru returned his stare. You'd better let go of Konohamaru right now or boss will kick your buttle all over the leaf. Moegi tried to be brave and stand up to the jerk in front of her. Boss? Who is your boss? Your fictitious pal? Kankuro laughed at the angry girl, then noticed the pink-haired girl turn the corner to see them. Kankuro, you know we have to be careful not to cause any problems. Gaara is relying on us to stay out of trouble, and there's also the issue of a certain person within Konoha who is also Gaara's friend. Temari had met Naruto shortly after he repaired Gaara's seal, and she was glad to meet the boy who had saved her little brother from insanity. Come on Temari. This runt asked for it when he bumped into me, and this kid never even apologized for it, Kankuro said as he noticed the kid he was holding trying to break free and thrashing around wildly. I don't apologize to ugly ladies who wear stupid makeup and have male voices while looking like a diseased cat, Konohamaru said, refusing to apologize because it wasn't his fault, and struggling even harder to get free. You little baka, I'm a guy. I was going to let you go, but I'm going to pound the crap out of you and force you to apologize right after I force you to eat dirt from your own village. Kankuro cocked his hand back and prepared to punch the boy's lights out. He came to a halt when he heard the sound of a lightsaber being activated and aimed at his throat. Drop him, Kankuro, or I'll make Gaara have one less sibling in his family, Naruto said, as he humming the glowing white blade next to Kankuro's throat and just under the Suna boy's arm about to launch the fist aimed at Konohamaru. Boss! Exclaimed Konohamaru as he was let go by Kankuro, who looked at Naruto, then back at the trio as they moved away from him. And Naruto. This isn't what it appears to be. Kankuro was sweating and saw Naruto's helmeted head look at him as if it was questioning that statement. Oh, you're serious? So, how does it appear? Someone from this village accidentally runs into you, and all you can think about is punching the kid in the face. A kid who happens to be the Hokage's grandson and would have sparked a war with Suna that the old man would have let me personally lead against you, said Naruto before turning off his lightsaber and turning to Temari, both siblings exhaling a sigh of relief. We're not here to start anything in Konoha Naruto-kun, but rather to compete in the Chunin exams and advance in rank, Temari explained, recalling how the previous few years had helped Naruto grow tremendously, and the blush Temari was now fighting to keep down was proof of that to her. Ah yes. Isn't it our year to host it this year? Naruto smiled as he removed his helmet, seeing the blush she had been suppressing break free at the sight of his face. Why yeah. Temari exclaimed as she felt her body begin to burn and wondered why this was happening now. Well, I hope to see you there, Temari-chan, because I was hoping to be a proctor for this event, Naruto said as he kissed her hand, causing the red on Temari's face to cover her entire body. She appeared to be sunburned. Me too and Naruto-kun, Temari said as she saw Kankuro scowl at Naruto and was about to intervene when Gaara appeared behind him. Don't do anything stupid, Kankuro, Gaara said in hushed tones, making Kankuro freeze in his desire to use his puppet and decide that he shouldn't unless he wanted to lose his arm. I wish you luck in your exams, Naruto said as he bowed to Gaara, who returned it, and then winked at Temari, making her blush even more before leaving with the trio of academy students back to their closet pervert Ebisu. Come on, you two. You can fantasize about Naruto later, Temari, but for now, just try not to get lost and end up at Naruto's house, Gaara said as he noticed Temari let out a small eep. That was so unlike her, and she followed her younger brother to their hotel. 3 hours later, Hokage's office. As everyone knows, the Chunin exams are now being held right here in the Leaf, and we must be cautious of the large number of shinobi who are coming in to take them. That being said, I'm curious if any of the Junin senseis here would like to nominate their genin teams for the Chunin exams, and if not, why not? Kurenai stepped forward first, and it was no surprise to the Hokage that the woman wanted to show off her team, said Sarutobi. Yuhi Kurenai, can proudly state that my team is ready to participate in the Chunin exams Hokage-sama, and that they are more than ready, Kurenai said as she noticed the Hokage nod and then turned to his son, who was now stepping forward. I, Sarutobi Asuma, can proudly state that my team is ready to participate in the Chunin exams, and they are ready for the exams, Asuma said, motioning for Guy to step forward with Naruto. I, Maeda Guy, can youthfully state that my team is ready to participate in the Chunin exams, and they are ready for the exams, Guy said, motioning for Kakashi to step forward with Naruto. I, Hitaki Kakashi, can proudly state that our team is ready for the Chunin exams, and they are ready to compete, Kakashi said as he saw the Hokage nod, but frowned when Naruto shook his head and took another step forward. You disagree, Naruto? Asked the Hokage, as everyone turned to face the Namikaze, waiting to hear what the young shinobi had to say. Naturally, I do. What Kakashi considers to be readiness, I refer to as inflating his ego in order to not be outdone by the other shinobi senseis in this room, and to have some measure of pride in joining the others in the Chunin exams. In reality, the team is not prepared, and to claim otherwise would be foolish, if not stupid. The Uchiha on the team is only interested in gaining power, so he will pick a fight with any shinobi who competes, whether they are leaf shinobi or not. The Haruno on the team wants the same thing, but she wants to use her power to kill me one day, and she does not care about her team as much as the Uchiha does. In fact, the only one who is ready is also the youngest of the three, and I don't want her running when she should still be walking. Naruto saw the Hokage nod at that because Hiashi had told him earlier that Hanabi was progressing a little too quickly for his liking and that he didn't want her to burn out before she could stabilize herself. I see. Are you certain, Kakashi, that Team 7 is ready? The Hokage observed the man nodding his head and Naruto shaking his. No, they do not. Throughout the exams, Uchiha and Haruno will pick fights with everyone around them, making them a target. In doing so, they endanger the third member of the team, and it goes without saying that neither of the two on Hanabi's team cares what happens to her. Because they believe she is weaker than them, they would sacrifice her and move on if it meant they could become Chunin. They are not prepared, and if the Hokage believes otherwise, perhaps he is not as wise as he makes everyone else believe. Naruto said this as he saw the Hokage frown and heard gasps from the others because no one ever talked to the Hokage like that. Ever. For a brief moment, the Hokage remained silent as he considered what Naruto had said, as well as Hiashi's remarks about his daughter being too young to compete in the exam. Something Naruto had just told him, despite neither of them speaking to the other during Team 7's return from Wave Country. On the other hand, the team was possibly the strongest of all three rookie teams, which made others wonder how strong the team truly was. Still, Naruto was not the type to inflate his ego because he had witnessed the arrogance that comes with it, with the last Uchiha being a prime example, and such things required humility to put down. Hokage-sama, I must disagree with my teammate Sensei's assessment of our team, stating that many of the high-priced clients will want to see the Uchiha in action. They must see that he is just as capable as his brother Itachi. Kakashi expressed his desire for the boy to mature and prove himself to the village. If Sasuke or Sakura can't wait until the next Chunin exams begin, they shouldn't even be considered for the Chunin exams. Don't let your feelings for the Uchiha, who gave you that eye, cloud your judgment, Kakashi, or I'll make sure you lose that eye before the natural one blinks. As he saw Kakashi's revealed eye narrow, Naruto made a fist and threw a punch at his sensei's son, which the boy easily caught with a firm hand. Even for you, Naruto, that's low, and don't forget that I have seniority here. The Hokage will listen to me because I understand what it takes to be a Chunin and have seen it firsthand with my team, said Kakashi as he looked at the Hokage, who frowned even more and looked at both shinobi in front of him, unsure what to do. Even with your seniority here, Kakashi, you still have the mindset of a spoiled child that wants what it shouldn't have, and wants now simply because of your own little background in being my father's prized student, said Naruto, tightening his grip on Kakashi's hand, and seeing the man narrow his eyes slightly in pain while trying not to make it obvious to any of the others. Enough. Congratulations, both of you. While I agree with Kakashi on there being important clients at the exam to see the Uchiha heir compete, Naruto's belief that Sasuke would bring disaster to the team with Haruno Sakura has merit. That being said, I must agree with Naruto that Team 7 is not yet ready to take the exams, and they will have to wait until they are. When the Hokage saw Kakashi's shocked expression, he nodded before releasing his grip on the Junin's fist. Thank you very much, Hokage-sama. Your old age does not appear to have hampered your mind after all. As I first suspected, Naruto walked out of the room, ignoring the stunned expressions on everyone's faces. I need to speak with him soon, sighed the Hokage, returning his attention to the stunned group of shinobi in front of him. 2 hours later. You wanted to see me? Naruto asked, seeing the man in front of him drop the henge and look at him with his youth-restored face. Yes. Naruto, it's about your attitude a few hours ago when the Genin teams were nominated, and how you disrespected me without cause. Hiruzen noticed the boy standing before him instead of sitting like they used to when they talked. It was as if an unseen chasm had opened between them. My attitude has nothing to do with it. Rather, my belief in what I'm seeing was a mistake in giving you something you clearly don't deserve, and I have considered taking such a thing away, Naruto said, seeing the Hokage's eyes widen at the threat, and surprised the boy would even consider it. What? Why? The Hokage observed the helmeted boy walk over to the window and gaze out at the village. It's because you take it for granted. When I returned your youth, I had come to believe that you would follow my advice on all village matters because it was in the best interests of the village, and that you would trust me to restore Konoha to its former glory during my father's tenure as Hokage. Now I see a man who questions whether my decisions about the team I run are valid, and who would ignore the fact that Kakashi only nominated Team 7 to boost his ego. The other nominated Genin teams are more than ready, as their senseis stated. Team 7, on the other hand, is not prepared, and I had hoped you would trust my judgment over a man who doesn't even show up for work on time. When Naruto saw the Hokage flinch, he realized the boy had a valid point. Sorry, Naruto. When I first make a decision, it is not always in the best interests of the village. However, I am certain that no one on Team 7 will be pleased with this decision, and Kakashi will point the finger at you, said the Hokage, who saw the boy shrug and turn more towards the window, as if it was pointless to blame someone. Unlike me. Kakashi can't do anything simply by pointing a finger at someone, Naruto said as he exited the Hokage's office in a swirl of crimson flame, and the fire shadow ran a hand through his once whitish gray hair. After 20 minutes, Namikaze Estates. Even with all of the changes he was making to the village, Naruto walked into his house tired, frustrated, and angry with the way things were. Naruto walked up to his bedroom, opened the door, and saw two hot naked women lying on his bed waiting for him after passing a drunken passed-out Zabuza with the recently healed-up demon brothers. Hello there, Naruto-kun. Have you had a bad day? Why don't you come over here, Sahaku-chan, and I can make you feel better? Asta asked, motioning with her hand in a come-forth motion, and saw Naruto remove his helmet before stripping off all of his clothes. I hope you didn't have to wait long, Naruto said as he transformed into his Yuko form and saw the lust in their eyes grow. No way, Naruto-sama. After sensing your return, Asta-sama entered the room and said that we should do everything we could to please you in order to relieve the frustration you had built up inside of you. Haku took his right hand in hers, and Asta took his left before moving him to the bed and kissing him. Haku-chan, she is correct. I've had a long day that has worn me down to the point of exhaustion. Naruto's voice had turned demonic, and his hands were either on one of Asta's breasts or on Haku's ass. Which is why we're here to relieve the exhaustion, Asta said as she began to run her hands over Naruto's body, and Haku did the same while moaning at the incredible sensation his hands gave them. It was going to be a long night, which was why Asta had secretly spiked the sake. she gave the three men downstairs, ensuring that they wouldn't wake up no matter how loud the noise in the bedroom was. Naruto stood on the roof of the Namikaze Estates in his robes, after a night of making sweet love to both girls and now sleeping peacefully in his bed, looking out over the village. Naruto activated a button hidden beneath his bracelet beneath his robes, connecting him with his loyal droid of a servant. It's finally time, HK-47. Order 289 should be carried out. Acknowledged, said Naruto, as he sensed his loyal assassin droid where the Hokage monument was, and had a big industrialized fan with him. True, Master. Immediate execution of your order, HK-47 said through the wrist speaker, activating the fan before tossing hundreds of embarrassing pictures of two young shinobi in front of it, allowing it to scatter down into the streets of the village. At least they won't have to worry about getting Sasuke's attention now, Naruto thought to himself before laughing and using the force to enhance his hearing to hear Kiba's feminine shriek upon seeing the many photos of him in his embarrassing position. His mother was beating him up while his big sister Hana grabbed as many as she could to hold onto in order to embarrass her little brother if he ever got a girlfriend. Though these images raise the question of whether it was a girl Kiba brought home to his mother. Shino explained the situation to his father, who nodded in understanding and thanked Kami for revealing that it was all a prank set up by Naruto. Shino's mother, on the other hand, was not so understanding, and when she saw the pictures, she had the only reaction a mother in her position could have. She passed out. The day of the Chunin exams had arrived, and Naruto walked towards the academy to supervise the first round of the exams and ensure that everything was in order for the genin who would be taking them. He hadn't seen his team since the Hokage had asked the Junin senseis if their genin teams were ready, to which Naruto had replied that they weren't. I'm curious how they reacted to the news. Sasuke and Sakura will be furious, but my main concern is Hanabi. The girl despises the fact that I'm not releasing her into the world like the others, and I can tell why. However, my decision cannot be based on her fears, and I must do what is right, thought Naruto as he sighed silently and pondered what he should do about the little Hyuga girl. He'd ask Asta or Haku, but they were currently sleeping peacefully, naked, together, and he had photos of them in various positions to prove it. Something to keep and use if he is away from them for an extended period of time on a mission. That, and possibly tease his two lovers later on. Naruto came to a halt near the academy when he noticed his team standing there, glaring at him for obvious reasons. The Uchiha and Haruno didn't matter to him, but Hanabi's did, and he needed to explain why he did what he did. You have some explaining to do, sensei, Sakura said, knowing that her mother would be yelling at her if she tried to kill him right now. Are you aware that I did not recommend you for the Chunin exams? Naruto didn't want to deny it, and he was certain Kakashi had tried to rub salt in their wounds. What the hell do you think you're doing? Denying us the right to take these exams and claiming that we are not prepared. Sasuke observed Naruto looking at him and then at Hanabi, who remained silent throughout the incident. Hanabi-san, you're not going to say anything to me. All you're doing is staring, but I'm not hearing the words I know you want to yell at the top of your lungs. Naruto could see Hanabi holding back what she wanted to say, and she was only holding it back because she knew deep down that he was correct. Hanabi-san is not required to say anything. Her silence, I believe, speaks volumes, said Kakashi, who was reading his book and seemed pleased with himself. Something that needs to be addressed right away. Actually, Kakashi-san, it says nothing, and I need to speak to Hanabi-san alone. Leave us alone, Naruto said as he noticed Sasuke raise an eyebrow, Sakura scowling at him for ordering her around, and Kakashi shrugging, thinking Naruto would make Hanabi hate him more before making them all leave because they weren't going to take the exams. Hanabi remained silent for a moment, her face solemn, and she tried to maintain that posture. Her serious expression broke down into sadness, tears welled up in her eyes, and she ran up to Naruto, hugging him as he tried to calm her down. Why? Why didn't you put us forward for the Chunin exams? Hanabi had wanted to hear it from her true sensei, not from the perverted tardy jerk who would try to drive her away from the one competent sensei who actually cared about her development. Do you understand what it takes to be a Chunin? To go out into the field on missions that are far more important than C-rank missions? To lead a squad of shinobi into enemy territory in search of information that, if failed, could spell disaster for you if caught. What happens to those who get caught in enemy territory? They are tortured mercilessly in exchange for information. As I previously stated, I don't want you to do certain things because I don't want you to waste your childhood and stain your hands in blood. Hanabi, I see potential in you, and I see you wanting to let it shine so that everyone can see it. That you are a Hyuga prodigy, just like your branch family cousin Neji. Naruto could feel her form stiffen at the mention of the branch family, and he could sense her fear of being branded with that damn seal. I don't want to have the cagebird seal placed on me, Hanabi said, clutching him even tighter and wishing she could forget everything around her. And you won't if you're my student. However, you must learn that your own fear is a crutch that, if not removed, will cripple you, and that the team you have is not the right team for you. Rest assured, Hanabi, you will be a great Chunin one day, but that day is not now, and you are still young, so don't think this is your only chance. Hanabi-chan, do you believe me? Naruto nodded his head as he noticed her blush at the suffix. Of course, Naruto-ku-sensei, exclaimed Hanabi, who had almost used the kun suffix and would have been even more embarrassed if it had slipped out. Then put your trust in me now, and I promise you that the rank of Chunin will be yours one day as a result of my training. Remember, once this exam is finished, the teams will need to be changed to accommodate those who have advanced, and when that happens, I will make sure you are on a team I trust to have your back for the next exam. As he saw her nod, Naruto gave him another reassuring hug. Thank you very much, Naruto-sensei. Could you please keep an eye on my sister during her exams? I'm sure Hinata-chan would be delighted to have her crush keep an eye on her, Hanabi said as she heard Naruto chuckle and ruffle her hair. I'll make sure she knows what you said. Now run along and enjoy this time to appreciate what the village has to offer, Naruto said as he pushed her forward with several force pushes, and Hanabi turned to smile at him before running off to do as he said. Room number 301, Shinobi Academy. Wow. Almost everyone has arrived. What happened to Naruto team? Kun's Ino expressed her disappointment at not seeing Sasuke or Naruto because Team 7 was the only team that was not present. Troublesome. It's up to Uchiha to make an entrance and impress everyone here, Shikamaru said this as he noticed Ino glaring at him and threatening to bash his skull in with her fist. No, he's not, Naruto said as he appeared behind the trio, nearly causing Ino to jump out of her purple skirt, Choji to spit out his chips, and Shikamaru to be hit by those moist pieces of salty goodness shot out of his friend's mouth. I feel so violated, Shikamaru said, as his brow twitched and he had to wipe the stuff from his face. Naruto-kun. Hinata thought to herself in the distance, glad to be around him again, and blushed when he looked in her direction. Naruto-kun. I see you were brought here by the flames of youth, but where is your team, and why are you the only one from it? Tenten elbowed Lee in the ribs, and he was told not to be such a baka in front of them. Ten-chan, don't worry. You all have a right to know. During the team nominations, I informed the Hokage that my team was not yet ready and that they would have to sit this one out. Naruto noticed their surprise but saw Team 9 nod in understanding because Guy had done this to them for a year. Why? Kiba asked, wanting to rub it in Sasuke's face that his team was deserving and the Uchiha clan wasn't. They aren't very good at working together. They could do D-ranked missions until they were greener than Lee's spandex and still not be qualified. Hyuga Hanabi is the only one who qualifies, but I don't want her to get her hands bloodied just yet. Naruto saw Neji narrow his eyes at that and knew that the branch family member thought his youngest cousin was being spoiled by her sensei. Hinata was relieved her sister wouldn't be in the room because of the Kumo shinobi, and she didn't want the Hyuga elders to think Hanabi was the stronger of the two sisters. "All of you, quiet down," said a boy with glasses crouching in a corner, drawing the group's attention. "Who are you?" Kiba asked as he saw the man push his glasses back and smirk at them before disappearing almost as quickly as it had appeared. But it drew Naruto's attention, and something in the force told him to be wary of this one. Kabuto is his name. "I'm another genin trying to make it to Chunin like you." According to Naruto, Kabuto was holding a stack of cards in his right hand and trying to make sure one of the rookies saw it. "Is this your first or second time taking it?" Tenten inquired, wondering if this guy had any experience with the Chunin exams in Konoha and could provide them with some insight into what they were up against. "My seventh, actually," Kabuto said, looking sheepishly at the number and trying to appear embarrassed. "No one takes the Chunin exams for that long without willingly getting promoted," Naruto reasoned as he narrowed his eyes beneath his mask and sensed that Kabuto had a dark aura around him. "You suck, dude," Kiba said as he was elbowed in the ribs by Shino, who felt the Inuzuka was an embarrassment and wondered if his team could make it without Kiba screwing things up. "Perhaps, but with each loss, I gained information, and that helps me in achieving my goal of finally making it all the way through," Kabuto said, smirking at the kids in front of him as they became interested in the information he possessed. "So be a good leaf shinobi and share with the rest of us," Ino said, curious about some of the people in this room and who to avoid. "So, from what I've gathered, nearly every major shinobi village is present for this exam, and they're all here to prove that the leaf isn't all that powerful. Look at how many genin teams Iwa sent here to take the Chunin exams. They sent 5 teams, Kumo sent 3 teams, one of which was rumored to have an actual demon sealed inside of them, and Suna sent 1 team made up of the Kazecage's siblings." Kabuto pointed to Gaara and his 2 siblings, Tamari looking at Naruto with a blush on her face. "Stop, you little hussy. Naruto-kun is now mine." "Okay, maybe he's not all mine, but he's close enough, and I'm not sharing him with you," exclaimed Hinata, her inner self now commanding her to go psycho on this girl and prove to Tamari that the Hyuga women could fight for their man. "What about the Kumo team? What is the identity of their demon vessel?" Neji cautioned that he needed to be cautious with that group, as well as the others, because they were here for the Hyuga eyes. "I don't know, but I do know it's a she, so be on your guard, and I also don't need to tell you to be careful of Iwa because they hate the leaf," Kabuto said as he saw the group nod and Shino look over at the genin team, who were mostly dressed in gray with a music note symbol on their headbands. "What about that team?" Shino asked, pointing to the group he was looking at, and the other leaf shinobi agreed. "What about them?" "They're from a new minor village that appeared out of nowhere in Rice Country. It's not surprising that only 1 team makes it to the Chunin exams in a major village, as this happens on occasion, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were really weak while only here to put on a show." Kabuto saw the 2 males on the team narrow their eyes at him and moved quickly to strike the man. They would have hit Kabuto if Naruto hadn't sent them flying back into a wall, leaving 2 spider web imprints that shook the room. Everyone now looked at Naruto and realized it was he who did it, with the Iwa team on high alert because they knew who he was. Kumo's shinobi teams were also nervous after hearing her demon's words about Naruto being unusually powerful. "Keep in mind that you are guests in another village, and you will be removed if you behave like wild animals," Naruto said as he walked to the large desk reserved for the teacher to use when teaching a class and motioned everyone to sit down. "He's our proctor for this?" Everyone wondered as Naruto motioned for the other assistants to pass out the written portion of the exam and waited for everyone to pay full attention to him. "Take note. This is the written portion of the Chunin exams, in which we test your mind to see if your Shinobi Academy actually taught you how to use the 2-pound soaking wet organ in your skull known as a brain. You have 10 questions in front of you, each one more difficult than the last, and you must answer each one correctly within the time limit. If you don't answer them all, your team will fail, and you'll be out of the Chunin exams faster than your heart beats. Furthermore, if you are caught cheating in this test, your entire team will fail, and you will be thrown out of this room and shipped back to your village if you are not from the Leaf. As Naruto noticed Iwa staring at him, Kumo followed suit, though there was one girl among the Kumo team who wasn't, and the Kazekage siblings seemed to be in good spirits. Temari, in particular, winked at him and ignored Hinata's death glare for it. You better pray to Kami that you fail, because in the next part of the exam you are mine Suna bitch. Hinata thought as she prepared to Hyuga on Temari's fan with ass. You will have 30 minutes to answer the first 9 questions and then 15 minutes to answer the final 10th question. Begin. Naruto sat at his desk, waiting for these genin to finish the test while carefully inspecting them to see if they were indeed genin. Because something told him that some of them weren't, and that some of them weren't even from Konoha. Naruto used the force to see who was cheating and who was cheating while avoiding detection by the assistant proctors in the room. The Iwa teams were doing slightly better than average, with only one team failing, and several Leaf teams that weren't previously under his command weren't doing so well either. The 2 rows of assistant proctors on each side of the room watched and picked off various teams while the test was being administered. It was mostly the Leaf genin teams, but not his genin teams, which Naruto was proud to see, and 3 of the Iwa teams, as well as 2 from Kumo, suffered greatly as a result of their protest. How could you possibly tell we cheated? I believe you are being unjust because we are from Iwa, said the leader of the 3 Iwa genin teams, with his group following, but they were deafeningly quiet when the one who spoke for them was hovering in the air, choking from a lack of oxygen in his lungs. What would be unfair, dear shinobi from Iwa, is me killing you all and then sending your heads back to the Tsuchikage before I take his to make your village back off, Naruto said, as he saw the young genin, probably a few years older than him, looking at his helmeted face with fear before he was slammed down onto the floor in front of the Namikaze's desk. Whoa! Exclaimed everyone in the room as they gazed at Naruto, followed by the Iwa genin teams, who had effectively revolted against the proctor. Anyone else want to challenge me? Now get out of here and out of Konoha with your senseis before I decide to get nasty. Naruto said this as he watched the Iwa teams he failed basically run over each other, and the other teams were now terrified of him. Hello there, big boy. This kitty enjoys. Ni Yugito's head was filled with Nibi, and the girl from Kumo blushed as a result. Nibi. You choose now, of all times, to be horny?
Yugito had been given orders by the Raikage to attend this exam in order to nab one of several Hyuga that their spies said would be attending while under the Leaf's nose to smuggle back and use to produce a new line of Hyuga shinobi.
I can't help myself. All that power, all those muscles visible beneath all that clothing, and don't forget he has his old friend Kyuubi Chakra-chan's running through him, said Nibi, who was bisexual when she needed to have fun with someone just for the sake of having fun, and not always could a male species do that. Ew! Exclaimed Yugito, unaware that Nibi had played both sides of the fence and that such an individual was sealed inside of her. Oh, please keep quiet. Besides, you should think about leaving Kumo and finding someplace to relax until this whole thing with the Akatsuki organization blows over. Nibi said this as she had her vessel investigate this organization that the Raikage was attempting to prevent her from listening in on once, and discovered that they weren't exactly demon vessel friendly. Has it ever occurred to you that perhaps they will not stop until they have captured all those like us? Yugito wondered, as she had finished her questions thanks to Nibi, and it made things easier for her to pass the time. In that case, stay in Konoha and raise a whole litter of kittens for this Namikaze. If you can get me out of here, I'll give him a litter and we can help him raise a whole family with Kyuubi-chan. Nibi noticed her vessel nearly let out a physical shriek from her body, and no doubt Naruto noticed her face turning crimson. Before the two could discuss it further in Yugito's mind, Naruto instructed them to stop writing and prepare for the final question. Okay, The final question will now be asked, but before I do, I need to know if you are prepared to answer it, because if you cannot, you must leave right now with your team and try again next year. If you try to answer it but get it wrong, you will no longer be able to advance to Chunin within this village and will have to try again in another village. Naruto observed many of the genin in the room looking at him as if he were insane. What? What kind of nonsense is that? Kiba let out a mighty bark only to whimper when Naruto's head quickly turned towards him, as he wasn't expecting this. The kind that, if you continue to be a jerk about, will get you thrown out the window and down 3 stories before you hit solid ground. Now raise your hand if you want to proceed with the final question, knowing that if you get it wrong, your opportunity to advance to Chunin here in Konoha is over, and you will be a genin until you compete in another village? If you're not from here, you can leave with your tail between your legs and return to your village as a complete failure. Naruto looked around and saw the genin teams he worked with, as well as the Suna siblings, raise their hands because they had nothing to lose by answering. Several other Leaf genin teams did not raise their hands, but the Kumo teams did, so the one Sound team raised their hands while one of the 2 remaining Iwa teams did not, making things easier for Naruto. We must not pause. Hesitation will lead to certain doom, thought genin teams 8, 9, and 10 as they gazed fearlessly at Naruto. Those who raised their hands, you passed the test. Those who did not raise their hands, you failed. Naruto observed the shock on the Iwa team and the Leaf teams that did not. What? That is false, said a Leaf genin, and Naruto was surprised to see Iwa team that also failed. No. It's true. When you are a Chunin, you must take missions that require you to be fearless while leading a team on missions that may entail incredible danger, as well as the risk of being caught by the enemy. If you are apprehended, you will be tortured for information that you may or may not have, and you will be subjected to a variety of things that no one wants to go through in their lifetime. Those who lack the courage to lead missions of that nature are not Chunin material, and while you have the intelligence to figure out how to get this far in this little written test, you lack the willpower to take the final step in doing something that could jeopardize your shinobi career, if not your life. Those who failed can now exit the room, and the rest of you. Cover your eyes. Naruto took a step back as the window to his right shattered, revealing the next proctor making her grand entrance. The fabulous and sexy Mitarashi Anko is here, exclaimed Anko, her big banner behind her, and her clothing causing the males in the room to nosebleed. You would have been late, Anko-chan, if Ibiki had done this, Naruto said as he stepped around her banner, and Anko let out a girlish squeal before tackling him while burying his head in her chest to let the cool metal of his helmet stimulate her well-endowed chest. Sorry, Naruto-kun. Please do not punish me with another spanking, Anko observed the males in the room, assistant proctors included, getting yet another nosebleed and the females in the room looking at her with murderous intent. How dare she say that? I'm the one Naruto-kun should be spanking, exclaimed Ino, Kin, Hinata, Tenten, Tamari, and, strangely, Yugito, who was telling her vessel to burn this woman alive. Later. You have to deal with the current set of teams of left for you to take to the next part of the exam right now, and if you're a good girl, I'll give you exactly what you want. Naruto said this as he made the girls in the room get nosebleeds and sent mental death threats to Anko once more. Strangely, the special Junin heard them and stuck her tongue out at the girls, making them even redder in the face. Okay, fine. But only because you're so hot. Anko kissed his helmeted face and placed one of his hands on her breasts to squeeze, raising the killer intent of the girls in the room to near suffocating levels. Remember, Anko, business comes before pleasure, and right now we have business to attend to, Naruto said, twisting her nipple to show her that he was going to let her do all the work in getting him active. Very good. Okay. All of Naruto team's Kuns will be following me to the next stage of the Chunin exams, and for the girls with evil thoughts running through your heads. You can't have him. Ha! Said Anko as she leapt out the window she had just destroyed, with all the girls hot on her tail and most of the guys staring at Naruto with heavy glares. "It's an animal thing," Naruto said before fleeing in a crimson wave, causing several guys to snap their fingers because they wanted to hurt Naruto. For the time being, they would have to pursue Anko and the girls in the hopes of witnessing a pretty wicked catfight orgy. Jiraiya would give his left nut to see if Tsunade hadn't already taken it from him after peeping on her while she and her boyfriend Dan were about to make love. In the Death Forest. The impending bloodbath between Anko and the girls was about to begin when Naruto appeared and told them that the girls could try to kill Anko after the next part of the exam finished. Both sides appeared to be upset, but Naruto raised a finger before pointing to a nearby tree, revealing Jiraiya falling out of it and showing he was taking notes for his research. "You can get a kiss from me if you beat him up and promise to behave," Naruto said, knowing that doing so would negate any animosity they all felt toward each other because of him, and it worked with Jiraiya pleading for mercy while not receiving any. "Kiss please," exclaimed each girl, including Anko, who felt she deserved a tongue kiss after one of her pet vipers attacked Jiraiya down south and told him he only had 10 minutes to get to the hospital before losing his right nut. "Promise not to kill each other?" Naruto asked, seeing them look at each other with reluctance, then slumped their heads in defeat. "We promise," the girls said, and were rewarded with a kiss from Naruto, Anko getting hers with her tongue, much to the chagrin of the others. "Good. For the rest of you boys now entering the clearing, each team will have a scroll labeled Earth or Heaven, and you must find the opposite of what you have. You have 5 days to get to the tower with both scrolls for your team. Failure in this section of the exam will result if you don't. If you do not have the scrolls within the time limit and are still in the Forest of Death, a special agent of mine will come in and kill you. Believe me when I say he is an expert at what he does." Naruto had previously used HK-47 during a special SS rank double agent mission that required Naruto to pretend to protect someone while in reality killing the target while making it appear that he was the protector in front of witnesses. The fundamentals of a two places at once theory devised by the Shoden with the assistance of the Nara clan shortly after the Leaf's founding but never realized until now. To avoid your village or your parents raising holy hell on us, we need you to sign these forms stating that the village is not responsible for any deaths that occurred as a result of the exam, Anko said as she went to the shack near one of the fences and grabbed a list of forms for the genin to sign. "Do you have any suggestions for this part of the exam?" Shikamaru asked, seeing Anko smirk and Naruto cocking his head to the right in thought. "Beware of the animals, as they aren't afraid to feast on human flesh, and try to keep one eye open when you go to sleep because it would be foolish to think you were safe at night," said Naruto, and Anko grinned evilly at that because some of the genin were terrified now. "Great. So I have to pretend mom is awake at night when she gets that time of the month again," Shikamaru thought, because his mom was ruthless in assigning him nightly chores when she got that moment in her female life cycle that all Nara males feared. "Okay. Did you all sign the forms? Good. Now proceed to your assigned gate before I fire the signal flare to begin this section of the test." As she noticed all of the genin teams heading to a specific gate, Anko fired the flare to signal them to run to the center of the forest, where the tower was located. This should be entertaining. Given that some of these genin aren't even genin, as Naruto noticed Anko's smirk, he became serious, knowing that the Leaf's future was in the hands of the fake genin. "Should we send in a few Anbu or ourselves into this soon?" Anko asked, hoping to hear Naruto's thoughts on the matter, and was relieved when he shook his head. "No, not yet. Let the exams play out as they should, but we can't get too far away from the Forest of Death, and we need to be somewhere we can act when the time comes," Naruto said this as he noticed Anko grin and place her hand on his shoulder. "I know just the place," Anko said as she and him went, poof, to the one place the special Junin knew would be ideal for watching the genin pass or fail this part of the test. 2 days later. Anko was still out of it when he got dressed, but Naruto had used the force to give her a wet dream so that when she came in with his cock inside of her, he would too, and left her his own gift before getting out of bed. Looking at the woman on the bed with the bedsheets covering her naked and sexy form, Naruto left, knowing that there were things that needed to be done that he couldn't put off any longer. Well, whatever. At the very least, I gave Anko-chan a little gift from me to her, Naruto thought as he took the tattoo gun with him sealed up in a scroll and quietly exited the room, since what he needed to do concerning Konoha's enemies, since one was connected to Anko. She wasn't prepared to face him. In any case, not yet. East of the central tower, Forest of Death. Kabuto was having a bad day. His team had been wiped out, and he saw his time in this world was running out with the Kumo team and the Nibi vessel coming at him mercilessly. Orochimaru had requested that they find a team that had the opposite scroll they did before proceeding to the tower, as the Uchiha had not performed well in the exams, as the Sannin had hoped, and was clearly enraged beyond reason. That's when Kabuto's team met the Kumo team that had passed the first part of the exam and revealed to them that Ni Yugito was the Nibi vessel that Kumo was supposed to have. While Yugito's teammates took care of the others on Kabuto's team, the young woman who was secretly Junin rank at the time had engaged Kabuto himself, and had launched a series of attacks that made the Sannin's secret student immediately realize that those attacks would be very difficult to heal if they hit. Some of them did, which was Kabuto slumped against the tree with a burning hole where his two lower ribs and several major organs would be from a powerful concentrated lightning jutsu that she shot out of her mouth like a cannon. He attempted to heal the wound, but his usual method was slowed by the burned flesh that couldn't heal right away, and he couldn't move because the lightning jutsu also had a paralyzing effect on his body should the shot miss, allowing a second shot to be fired. We know you don't serve the leaf because you smell more like a snake than anything else, and being near you makes us sick. Die. Yugito spoke as she summoned Nibi's powers and incinerated the false genin in front of her. It's a good thing the fool gave the scroll he was holding to his other teammate. We might have had to find another because your powers would have burned it alive, forcing us to stay here a little longer, said the Kumo, genin. Behind Yugito, who was actually Chunin level but was made to appear genin, and the same with the third member of their party in this little operation the Raikage had planned. Then we should finish our next goal and find one of the two Hyuga clan members in this exam to bring back to the Raikage. Do you have the special body transportation seal scroll? Yugito left to meet up with teammate number 3 after seeing her teammate for this mission nod his head. I can detect his sexual arousal for you. He may try to hide it, but I can smell it coming off of him like a monkey after bathing in a swamp, and if the Raikage didn't forbid them from trying, I would suggest you kill him here to make it look like someone else did it. Nibi knew the man had been eyeing her ship since they first teamed up in Kumo, and she knew Yugito would love nothing more than to burn her two teammates to ashes right now. Perhaps the other students in the exam will do it for her. South of the central tower, Forest of Death. Now let's see who I can corrupt with my curse seal, Orochimaru thought as he stalked towards some rain genin, but sensed the trio from Suna even closer, and cursed his luck for not catching the rain genin team sooner. As he retreated, the Sannin in disguise turned to see the figure in front of him was none other than Namikaze Naruto, who was standing on a tree branch with his two trusty lightsabers in each hand, ready to kill him. Orochimaru had leapt back, surprised, and drew his kusanagi, knowing full well not to take this boy lightly. Do you really think I'd let you poison others with what's stored in those fangs in your mouth, Orochimaru? What a moron. Naruto dashed at blinding speed, making the Sannin leap back while shedding a piece of his shinobi uniform. You. Namikaze Naruto, I'm aware of your situation. Your father took the position of 4th Hokage, which should have been mine from the beginning. Orochimaru snarled at Naruto as he ripped away the fake face of the grass nin he killed to get here and assumed his kenjutsu stance, his sword glowing similarly to Naruto's lightsabers. It's a shame you didn't wait until after the fox killed him, then you could have taken it and become more powerful in the process, Naruto said as he saw the shock on Sannin's pale face and used it to charge forward to bombard Orochimaru with a series of kenjutsu moves that the man could barely block. This kid fights like the devil, thought Orochimaru as he attempted a thrust maneuver to counter Naruto's blade, which the Namikaze dodged and leapt while spinning with his blades spinning around him before landing on his feet. Orochimaru, you appear tired. Is it finally time for you to retire? Naruto said as he saw the Sannin snarl at him and make hand gestures. With my new body, I am hardly old. I will keep its youth and never die with each body I take. Jutsu summoning. Orochimaru summoned a giant snake to fight for him, but before the snake could attack Naruto, it choked and was thrown away through the many trees in the forest of death like a stone across an open field. So you developed a body-swapping jutsu, just as the Sandaime suspected when he confronted you in your secret laboratory years ago. Naruto said this as he combined his two lightsabers into a double-bladed lightsaber and prepared to battle the Sannin in a whole new way. Do you believe you can kill me, boy? I am one of the legendary 3 Sannin, and I knew more about this world before you were even a speck in your grandfather's eye. Orochimaru was terrified, as he had heard of the boy's power but had never truly believed it until now, and didn't expect this kid to be so powerful. You make it sound like you're supposed to be a god, Naruto mocked, causing Orochimaru to narrow his eyes and draw his sword up to fight. I am a god, exclaimed Orochimaru as he noticed Naruto cock his head to the right and then back to normal. No. You are not a deity. It was only his little mortal bitch. As Orochimaru became enraged, Naruto charged forward with his Kusanagi, while Naruto prepared for the Sannin to strike. There was a flash of light when the two collided, and then they were back where they had been moments before. And Orochimaru's left arm fell off, causing the man to howl in agony. You're a jerk. I will kill you for this heinous crime. Orochimaru became enraged when he realized his adversary was playing games with him. Then attack me, Naruto said as he waited for Orochimaru to attack, but he didn't, and the Sannin began to melt into the ground. We will meet again, Namikaze filth, and when we do, I will take your sword from you to become my personal trophies to hang on my wall to show that I killed the Yondaime's only son, said Orochimaru before leaving the area completely, leaving Naruto to rely on the Force to guide him. Anko won't be pleased, but she'll understand why, and hopefully she won't hate me for it, Naruto thought, knowing how much killing Orochimaru meant to her, and how great it would be to see her old sensei dead. Before Naruto could think any further, he felt a shiver run through the Force, and it was in the direction of Team 8 fighting a group of Kumo shinobi who, based on the power they were generating, were not genin. Along with Team 8. Lightning style. Lightning Dragon Jutsu, exclaimed the Kumo, genin, as he unleashed a massive bolt of lightning shaped like a dragon on Kiba, who barely avoided the attack that caused his hair to stand on end and growled at the Kumo shinobi for doing so. Damn. If I hadn't been put through the training Naruto had instructed Kurenai to put us through, I would have been destroyed by that attack, leaving Shino and Hinata to defend themselves from these guys, Kiba thought as his partner Akamaru snuck behind the Kumo shinobi and bit him in between the legs, giving Kiba time to strike by driving a kunai into the man's skull. Damn. Damon was murdered by the Inuzuka brat, another Kumo stated. Genin was fighting Shino when he noticed the Aburame boy unleash a swarm of insects on him, attempting to eat his chakra along with his flesh. It is extremely painful for the victim of such an attack. And now you will join him, Shino said as he watched his bugs devour the man, knowing that he would have to tell Kurenai or possibly Naruto about it later. Your friends may have defeated my comrades, you little Hyuga bitch, but that won't save you from me and my wrath, said the female Kumo team member as she threw a barrage of kunai at Hinata from afar, which the Hyuga heiress easily dodged, and rushed in to strike the female genin that was before her. Don't bet on it, Hinata said, having learned to be confident around Naruto and overcome her hesitation around others. That didn't mean Hinata wouldn't faint if she got too close to Naruto. Hinata's speed and agility in dodging her long-range attacks, which she specialized in, surprised the female Kumo shinobi before she found her retreating form being stopped by a tree trunk. Hinata's attack struck bark, shattering it, thanks to the extra training Naruto had her do when he visited Team 8 on occasion. The woman with red-brownish hair from Kumo only had 2 seconds to dodge, as Hinata's attack struck bark and made it shatter. Damn. Konoha, what have you been feeding these teams? Steroids? Exclaimed the surprised Kumo shinobi as she attempted to flee, only to be cut off by Hinata's teammates and the said girl moving in for the kill before the woman could try to avoid it. Hinata-chan, don't be afraid of death. Death is always by our side, whether we are delivering it or receiving it. The first kill we deliver as shinobi is always the most difficult because it requires us to sacrifice a piece of our very soul. Do not enjoy killing others, Hinata-chan, because if you do, you will have sacrificed your entire soul, and you will become a monster who cares about those who love you, said the echoing voice in Hinata's head after she expressed her concerns about killing for the first time and asked Naruto for advice. I will not turn into a monster, Naruto-kun. I will prove that just because I kill people in this profession doesn't mean I enjoy it, Hinata thought, as she remembered the village's most powerful prodigies drowning in bloodlust and the desire for more power. Team 8's brief respite in obtaining the scroll they required was cut short when Ni Yugito's team arrived and discovered their fellow Kumo shinobi dead on the ground. The 2 males on Yugito's team were enraged because they had lost their comrades to Leaf Shinobi in the attempt to obtain the Byakugan, and it was now up to them. I can't wait to get that Hyuga bitch back to Kumo so we can finally start the breeding program we set up to create our own clan, Yugito's teammate to her left said, as she saw him lick his lips at the girl who was now shivering in fear of such a thing, and the Nibi vessel couldn't blame her. You stated it. We can still have her trained to please her new masters, even if we have to wait a few years, said Yugito's other teammate to her right, causing the Nibi vessel and the Nibi inside her to vomit. Human male pigs are the worst. They think with their little tiny things between their legs rather than with their minds. Nibi wished Yugito would attack and splatter the blood of these Kumo shinobi on either side of her. Focus on the mission, not your dicks. Yugito said, apologizing to Hinata and ignoring the glares from her so-called teammate. How about you all concentrate on me instead? Said Naruto, as he appeared above Team 8 with his double-bladed lightsaber activated, and the fear his presence instilled in the Kumo team. Naruto-kun! Exclaimed Hinata, overjoyed that her love had arrived in their hour of need, as they didn't have the strength to take on another Kumo team, and one with a demon vessel if Shino's bugs were correct. You are Namikaze Naruto, also known as the infamous Shinigami, among the elemental countries, and has completed the most S-ranked missions since the Yondaime during the Third Shinobi War, Yugito said, as she felt her heart pumping for reasons other than fear, and backed away from him while her teammates were rooted to the ground in fear. Yes. Now, if you will kindly surrender yourself to me, I will not have to kill you and then tell the Hokage about Kumo's secret attempt to use the Chunin exams to steal one of the village's shinobi for the Hyuga bloodline until the exams are over, said Naruto, seeing the team tense, and Hinata flinch from what had happened years ago that caused her clan to lose her uncle, causing Neji to hate her so much. To hell with it. We're taking this Hyuga back to Kumo one way or another, and there's nothing you can do about it. The Kumo shinobi was attacked not by Naruto, but by Yugito herself, who used Nibi's power to attack her other surprised teammate for this mission. Only the man acted faster and leapt away from Yugito, but during that split second, he forgot about Naruto and didn't notice the double-bladed lightsaber spinning towards him until it was too late. Within seconds, the man was cut in half and fell to the ground screaming in agony, while Naruto's weapon was returned to him via force command. Would you mind doing the honors, Shino? Naruto sent his bugs to devour the Kumo shinobi's body after seeing the Aburame nod his head in agreement. Namikaze Naruto, I Ni Yugito, the holder of Nibi Cat Demon, hereby state that I no longer serve the Raikage of Kumo, and wish to pledge my loyalty to the Leaf if the Hokage would grant me amnesty, Yugito said as she kneeled before the man, the Nibi now cheering her on for finally leaving Kumo. "I'll see what I can come up with. You and Team 8 will accompany me because there is a lot to talk about in this case." Naruto motioned for her and Team 8 to follow him as he sensed her desire to leave Kumo was true. In the trees above them, one Hyuga Neji, who had broken away from his team to look for a scroll, frowned and clenched his teeth, his hands clenched into fists. Namikaze Naruto saved Hinata from being taken back to their village by Kumo shinobi, as well as taking in a Kumo prisoner and hoping to shed some light on the Raikage's plans during the Chunin exams. Hinata-sama always gets her own way. Being a member of the main family, being saved by her love, and progressing to the next stage with the man's assistance. Enjoy this moment, Hinata-sama, because I will crush you in the next section of the exams, and I will do it in front of your lover. Knowing he can't stop me, thought Neji, who had hated bothering her and Naruto for some time, with this taking his rage to a whole new level. Neji smirked at that part of his thought and exited the area to rejoin his team. His only disappointment was that Hanabi would not be present to witness it, as it would remind the little girl that being in the Hyuga clan's main family did not grant immunity from the branch family, and that she should pray to Kami that fate's hand would not be cruel enough to pit her against family. Neji's secret agreement with the Hyuga elders would ensure his ascension to the main family, and Hinata's fall to the branch family was almost guaranteed as a result.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.